Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, a long time ago, created a masterpiece entitled Faust that actually inspired the next band that I'm going to be speaking about. This band alone has inspired many as well. They've inspired musicians, they've inspired fans, they've inspired reviewers. But yet still they're a band that continuously is kind of not known as well as perhaps they should be. I don't want to say that they're underappreciated, because those who have heard of this band are constantly spellbound by them. And I don't really want to call them underrated, because these guys always get high marks by reviewers. They're constantly a mainstay at the top of lists whenever it comes to the end of the year. But yet they still seem to just be barely scratching the surface whenever it comes to fandom. That's the band Agalloch, and their 21-minute long EP entitled FAUSTIAN Echoes. This is a 21-minute long EP that is broken up into two parts because it's only one song. However, it is free-flowing. So that means that all 21 minutes and change are going to be on the same track. Now, I know what a lot of you are thinking. I know a lot of you are saying, I can't stand long songs, I can't get into them. Well, you can't. I'm going to tell you right now, you can get into long songs. You can get into Agalloch. I'm going to give you this open invitation, especially to those of you who are in my area, around the Uniontown, Pennsylvania area. Because at the Uniontown, Pennsylvania FYE, there's a copy of an album entitled The Mantle by Agalloch. A used copy at that, so it's not full price. That album, to me, is a 10 out of 10 perfect piece of work, which is a rarity, something I barely hand out, if at all. I've only handed out one this year, nearly a second. I highly recommend that you pick it up. If you go and it's gone, you're too late. But that is my plea for you. FAUSTIAN Echoes could be considered the Mantle in EP form, but I'm not going to go that far. Why? Because Agalloch has been able to showcase different elements to their sound throughout their career. They've been able to showcase folk metal. They've been able to showcase a twinge or two of black metal with their vocals. The vocals are able to dynamically go from extremely rough and rugged to very clean, very crisp, very beautiful. They also have elements of shoegaze or metal gaze that are existent throughout their music, and mainly for an atmospheric purpose. That atmospheric side is ever present. It's ever fucking present. And deep down inside, at the very core, it is extremely melodic. It is extremely well done. There are transitions. There are beautiful passages. It's almost as though these are songs that are written in steps and movements. Just like a symphony. Or just like an opera. What you get through FAUSTIAN Echoes is an amalgamation of all of these things, presented to you in the form of their representation and their expressionism toward this work, Faust. There are spoken word parts that are both at the beginning and end of this, that are direct excerpts, and it really shows that this is a work that is all about kind of introspection. It's all about self-realization. It's all about delving into the deeper meanings and parts of life. The things that perhaps men will only think about whenever they're at their weakest and most vulnerable points. This album is able to conjure up various emotions through the music that is played. However, the one thing that does not happen throughout this song is that you are never bored. You are never left thinking to yourself, why am I listening to a 21-track album? 21-minute long album. 21 tracks would be grindcore. The reason why they're able to do this is because they're able to make each and every movement, each and every part, conceptually interesting. Even the parts where they're just kind of doing that metal gaze idea, that shoegaze, metal gaze idea, whatever you want to call it, is interesting because the riff is interesting. The riff sticks in your head. It's like a little parasite that infects you, and you love it. The vocals are able to do that beautiful mixture of rough and rugged and clean and beautiful. Everything is precise. Everything is very well done. There are words that I could use to describe this, but I will actually let it be your ears that give you the true bliss. Ladies and gentlemen, there's not very much else that I can say to describe something like this, except for I want a new Agalloch record. I want a new full-length album. Whenever I was listening to this track for the very first time, and I've listened to it a couple of times since, the very first thing that came into my mind was, at about the 18-minute long mark, I was talking with a couple of people online, and I thought, fuck, it's almost over. My new Agalloch experience is nearly complete. And that depressed me, because I wanted 4 or 5 more tracks. I wanted a full length. I wanted the experience to keep going. And quite honestly, I know, and I even knew at the time, that 4 or 5 tracks more wouldn't be enough either. It's a bug that I caught. It's like cancer, you know? I can't get rid of it, and I don't want to get rid of it. I like it. I love this feeling. This band is able to really push boundaries, but at the same time also remain very simple. They're not a band that doesn't have to do too much in order to floor you, but they're able to do just enough to truly just impress you. FAUSTIAN Echoes is the latest in a laundry list of classics that this band from Portland, Oregon, right here in America, have been able to give us. And I highly recommend that you check it out online, that you order the EP, and if this is your first experience with Agalloch, please get your experience underway. Because this is a band that will infect your life in a good way. It is a band that you will listen to music that will both tug on your heart and soul, but also bring you joy. I've been a fan for over 10 years, maybe even closer to 12, since right before The Mantle came out. And my fandom only continues to grow. I would have to give this a strong, strong 9 out of 10. Highly recommended. Highly, highly suggest that you check it out. So please do.